Alex, you guys spent 6 out of the last 7 games on the road. Just how are you guys feeling as a group after that stretch?
I mean, we win. We won 6 out of 7. 6 out of 7, so not bad. That's kind of where you want to put the barometer test for that is how well did we play. And I think we played good. Obviously, it's hard playing on the road in the league, but like everyone's got to do it. December is a busy month for us on the road, and depending on what happens with the cup games, it could be even more. So. You kind of know that mindset coming into the year that 1 month out of the year, 1.5 of the months is going to be brutal, and that's just it's our month in December. So we're doing a good job though. I mean, energy is good. We're doing a good job getting recovery, putting the work in that we need to get better, but also being mindful of our bodies.
The season tests every team and kind of puts them through the ringer. You guys have faced a lot of adversity early. What stood out about the way that this group has kind of powered through that, rallied through that, all the ways they've reacted to it?
Yeah, it's I don't want to say inspiring. It sounds like cliche, but it's positive energy. It's stuff to build on. That knowing we're playing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different guys through the beginning of the season. Like that just goes to show like the depth and the quality that we have on the team, but also the accountability of guys to be ready to be professional, trust from Mark to throw him in there and get the job done and execute. And like I said, same thing with kind of the schedule. Like a little bit of adversity for us to start the year with some injuries and stuff like that, and we'll have more, maybe not injury wise, but we'll have more adversity through the season. Like that's just part of it. That's what's going to make us stronger and help us grow as a team.
Mark was saying the other night that being up 30 and facing a team like New Orleans that just they threw the kitchen sink at you. It's a really good thing to experience it in December and not have some of that stuff that you're seeing for the first time come April. What do you feel like you guys can learn from that experience the other night that will pay dividends throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be kind of a thing for us. I think we're a really good team. We come out and punch people in the mouth pretty early. We did it in Toronto, did it in New Orleans, done it a couple times this year where we're up double digits, if not 20 or so at half. And playing with the lead is one of the hardest things in sports, especially professional sports, just because there's no run rule. You got to play 48 minutes until you can go home. So it's good for us just to learn and kind of work on the discipline and work on that the concentrated effort of putting in a full game. Because, like you said, it's going to pay dividends for us when we play, the top half of each conference and are playing important games.
Any extra energy or pop at practice with this tournament starting tomorrow?
Maybe a little bit, but for the most part, like this is routine for us. We show up, go to work, prepare the same way. Obviously, we know what's at stake with the cup game. Some of the young guys, want that extra payday, and that's some of the motivation too. So. There's some good energy behind that, but for us, it's pretty standard. Like show up to work, get your business done, get ready.
Dallas is playing really well right now. What stands out as you face them tomorrow night? I guess with Luka.
Yeah, I mean they're keeping their momentum going from late last year. I think post All-Star break, they're one of the better teams in the league record-wise and statistically. So they got the same team pretty much that came back. Maybe a couple role players changed, but for them, it's just about picking up their momentum where they were last year, and I think they're doing that. They're giving good enough efforts defensively to compete, and then offensively, obviously, their talent speaks for themselves. They got great bigs that complement Luka and Kyrie, shooting around that. I think if we play the way we're supposed to play, obviously, we can beat anybody in the league. But they're a really good team, and we got to play well.
Alex, maybe this stuff isn't in your face as much as it is ours, but in terms of the defense, point differential, like defensive net, how it compares to all-time teams. Like we're seeing that every game. I just wonder, now that you're a quarter of the way through the season, maybe even less for you, do you feel like this is an all-time defense that you're part of?
Maybe. 25% of the season is not a season, right? So doing that for 82 games is different than doing it for 23 or 24, however many we've played, 23 games. Doing that for a full season, there's a reason you have all time in front of those list of teams because they did it for a full year. So if we do it for a full year, we can talk about it. But I think for us, it's just staying with the process of it. Like I don't think we've, at least not to my knowledge, like nobody's talked about statistically they've not hammered home like, hey, we're doing this. This is like we're just playing the schemes that we know how to play and playing hard, and we got guys that compete and guys that like to play defense.
How are you playing different when you're on the court with other elite defenders? Like when you and Kaysen and Lou are all on the court together, I mean, I assume it's different than, a normal NBA line.
Yeah, it's fun just because they make life difficult for people. I noticed it on the bench the other night. I don't think it was me, but I was watching. It was Kaysen guarding the ball. He drove into Shea loading on from the corner, almost stole it. Kaysen almost stole it coming back. Somebody came into a screen. Lou switched on to him. He tried to drive. Dub was in the gap. There's no soft spots in our defense at any time, and that's one of the things that we talked about that makes it, the statistics are showing up how they are, because we got so many guys that are elite defenders in the league, and even outside of Kaysen and Lou, Dub is playing phenomenally defensively for us, impacting the ball, on ball especially. He just takes the ball from guys like that. Not many people in the NBA, professional basketball, just get the ball taken from them. They're really good players, so that speaks to the level of skill that he has, and he's probably, people would say, maybe our fourth best defender, at best. I think people would put me, Case, and Lou in front of him by name, So, I mean, just the depth of talent we have defensively is just special, man.
With Jado specifically, I mean, I know some of the progression is natural because it's his third year, but does he look like a different player than what you saw from afar last year?
Yeah, I mean, I only got glimpses of it, but even, last year, first game of the year, Shea played good, but I thought he was their, I don't know how I say that because I wasn't on the team then. He was the best player of that game, for the Thunder, and he does that where, Shea demands so much attention, right? He's always going to do that. He's MVP of the league consideration every year, first team All-NBA, but Dub is a complete basketball player. When he is on and playing, you've seen games this year, he's got 38, 7, 4 steals, 2 blocks, hit 3 threes. There's nothing that he can't do at any time on the court. And yeah, like you said, it just comes with progression of games. The more reps you get, I'm in year 8 and playing how I am now, I'm a much different player than I was my first year, 2 years, 3 years in the league. And that just goes to show, the professionalism of that. Guys putting in the work, guys want to get better. Because that's how you have long, impactful career.
Maybe we don't have a big sample of this yet, but it feels like when you and Isaiah Hartenstein are on the court together, he's throwing crazy passes to you. You're trying to find him. Why is that? Why is that chemistry like that already?
I think we just have a good understanding of how each other play. We're looking for that stuff. He did a lot of that last year in New York, playing with Brunson, and then once Jalen gave it up to him, he's playing in the pocket, finding guys. He's a phenomenal passer. People don't talk about him as a passer, as a big in the league. Obviously Jokic is in a category on his own. That's a different guy, but not many bigs in the league can pass and have the ball skills that he has, in the pocket, playing off of traps or off of a roll. So I know he's going to be able to find me, and then obviously it's just about reading the game and finding it. He sees the stuff that I see.
Mark, I know it's been a quarter of the season, but when you hear that your team has more steals than turnovers, which hasn't been done to this point by any team in history, what do you think?
That's a good way to win the possession battle. We have done a nice job at taking care of the ball. I think a lot of that is our main creators do a great job of that. And then defensively, we've been very disruptive. It's not an end game, either stat. It's more of it's downstream of the process, but it really helps you win when you get more shots than your opponent. And one way to do that is the turnover battle. The other way to do it is the rebounding battle, which has also improved over the last 11 games. So things are looking up there as well.
Excited to see what the matchup against Dallas looks like with Hartenstein and Caruso, guys you haven't had a chance to employ against them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd like to be as close to 100% as we can be. Obviously, they're both very impactful players, so getting them back has given us a nice jolt. Obviously, Hartenstein getting back with Chet's injury, has been huge to just absorb that amount of minutes with a front court player. And then Alex, impacts everything he touches. And I thought he had a really good week in terms of just getting back and being impactful in both of those games.
Do you treat it as 1 of 82, or does this have a little bit more meaning to it with something on the line here?
1 of 82, closer to 1 of 82, but we like playing in like these elevated regular season games. They don't have to be cup games to be that, against really good opponent, where both teams are kind of throwing their best punch. We learn a lot from those games. I thought that's one of the reasons why we improved last season through the years. We played in a lot of those games, and in some of them we won and we gained confidence from those, and in others we fell short, and you can gain some wisdom from those. And so we love big challenges, and tomorrow's a big challenge.
I won't ask you about Jay Will's status, but is it possible he'll, travel this week? Get you guys?
We got to see what happens in terms of tomorrow. We might not even travel if we lost tomorrow, and I think it's Houston lost, then we don't travel. So we'll take it a game at a time.
What have you seen from Dylan Jones over the last couple of G League games?
Pretty good. I like how I didn't watch yesterday's yet. Full disclosure, I watched live the other night. Not live in person, but I watched it on YouTube, and I like how he approaches the games. I think he does a really nice job. It's always interesting to see how guys go there, and how much they try to insert themselves. And I think he's been very appropriate in. He's not hiding or blending in, but at the same time, he's not forcing. He's just letting the game come to him, and he's taking a very mature approach to the assignment. And so that's good to see. And he needs the reps. He's improving in his system skills on both ends. That's why he's there. He's getting more minutes there, more opportunity, and he's doing a nice job with it.
What are some of the positives and kind of negatives of having a week like this where you're not quite sure what's going to happen after the way in terms of your schedule?
It just kind of is it's the nature of the thing. So we're at no disadvantage relative to the other teams that are in this. We'd rather be playing against good opponents right now, and again, testing ourselves in those types of games. And so we're going to get that opportunity this week.
Well, when you add offensive weapons year to year, like Chet entering the lineup and J-Dub emergence and Hartenstein this year, I assume coaches are like fans. You think, hey, look at all the things we can do and figure out a way to use them.
Yeah.
Is it the same way when you collect a bunch of defensive stalwarts, guys that can really play? Like when you Cason's emergence, Caruso's addition to go with Dort and everything else you got. Does that just get a coach's mind racing on what can we do with guys like this?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you're always trying to bend what you're doing to the strengths and vulnerabilities of your personnel. So sometimes defensively, you've got to bend to the vulnerabilities of somebody that might bring an offensive punch to your team. And certainly you want to bend to the strengths. And I think we've tried to do that. I think the amount we've pressured this year is more than we've ever pressured, like up the floor, picking up the ball higher. I think that's, you're kind of like making the floor bigger for the opponent, to access that pressure, which puts you in longer closeouts and potentially puts guys more on an island, but you can bet on that a little more when you've got kind of the individual defenders that we have. I also think that's been one part of the small lineup that's been kind of overlooked, is like the impact of a compounding effect of that many point of attack defensive guards is what allows you to play super small at the 5. It's not only Dub's versatility, which is, speaks for itself and is well documented. Like, he deserves a lot of credit for that. But if you've got him at the 5 with his versatility, but you don't have guys that can handle individual matchups around that, it'd be very difficult for us to keep the scoreboard moving the way that we were able to do in those minutes so far this season. So I think that credit goes to the defensive talent on the roster as well.
I know Shea is in charge of his development. You say that all the time, but I guess I don't know how much you got to talk about this, but is there a vision you have for him as the type of playmaker he should or needs to be for the team?
Yeah, he for sure. He's got the ball more than anybody. He's creating more than anybody. His usage is higher than anybody, and with that comes a lot of responsibility for him or any player that's taking that many possessions. So there's a responsibility in that, but the thing that gives me confidence and us confidence with him is like you're handing the keys over to somebody that cares deeply about how they're driving the car, so it makes it a lot easier to stomach that amount of responsibility on a player like him or Dub that take on a lot of responsibility, obviously, for our team, when they care as much as we do about the way the team plays because of that. And no one's more self-reflective than he is. No one wants to improve more when they fall short than he does. And that's why I give him the space that I've described in the past.
So I guess, not to get too granular, but like what does that look like? The kind of playmaker he needs to be for their team or for this team.
A lot of it gets based on how he's getting guarded. He's obviously one of the most respected offensive players in the league, and as a result of that, different teams do different things, and it's more about him learning what those things are and the best way to attack those. And a lot of those become team things. I thought New Orleans started trapping in the second half of that game the other night. I didn't think we handled it great, but that was a 5-man responsibility. That didn't all just fall on one person. And so some of that's the team understanding how we need to attack different things, even if the schemes are designed to take him away, like New Orleans is double teaming him because he is who he is. But that's a 5-man responsibility. That's everybody. We all have to do a good job of attacking that, or else we're not going to be able to attack it effectively.